6 o'clock. Nestor, you ready? Got the mics on? Okay, at 6 o'clock, we're going to call this meeting to order, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Grayson Wicker and Braylon Henderson tonight. Okay. Wait on Grayson. Are y'all ready? Y'all face the flag. Okay, you ready? Y'all start. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank y'all. Hey, let me give y'all a present. There are official city pins inside there you can put on your shirt. Thank y'all.
He was in here.
In case y'all didn't know, that was Alderman Wicker's son and my grandson. Just so everybody knows, we have a full board tonight. Alderman Harris and Andrew Miller are both on the phone, so we have everyone here. Ben, would you start with our invocation for us?
Yes, sir. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the day that you've created for us. Today it's unlike any other. It was beautiful. Thank you for this time that we have to come together and make decisions regarding the future of our city. We thank you for our police and fire who protect us every day and provide protection for us. We thank you for the men and women who are fighting for our freedom across this world. We ask you to give us guidance as we make our decisions this evening. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Can I have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
Motion.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 5 is the docket of claims. Can I have a motion on that?
We'll make a second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The motion passes. Item 6 is to approve the minutes from the meeting of January 16th.
Motion.
Second.
The motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The motion passes. Item 7 is to approve the minutes from the recessed meeting of January 23rd.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 8 is the consent agenda.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 9 is the personnel docket. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 10 is the donations docket. Can I have a motion on that item?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 11 is the approval to issue a court bond refund to Demetrio Ayala Limones for $4,496.75 that missed the docket deadline. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. And that motion passes. Item 12 is to appoint Cynthia Brewer as a deputy clerk in the planning department. I have a motion on the item.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And that motion passes. Item 13, as y'all read, our K-9 named K-Row is in need of being retired. We request the retention and ownership of K-Row to his handler, Officer Vaughn, pursuant to Mississippi Code 45-3-52.
Motion.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. We're going to continue on with the new thing we're doing where we have the department heads update the board and, just as importantly, the public on the things that have happened in the past year. So we'll call up Chief Marshal Berry.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is my little thing for what we've done last year. First, our mission statement is, the mission of Hernando Fire and EMS is to protect life, property, and the environment through preparedness, prevention, education, and emergency response.
Hey, Chief, can you pull the mic a little closer so everybody can hear better?
We've got 53 people on our staff with 3 divisions, the fire, EMS, and fire marshal's office. On the fire side, we have 41 firefighters. We hired 3 additional last year so that we'd be able to add more manpower on each apparatus. We ran a total of 1,629 calls. We had 3,720 hours of training, 380 hours of seminar training, and we also have 4 personnel on the Mississippi Task Force. On the EMS side, we've got 11 total medics, 9 are full-time medics, 2 are fire medics. We got 13 EMTs on the fire side. They ran a total of 2,547 calls, approximately 212 per month. The breakdown on that was 987 of those calls were less than an hour, and that time frame is from the time they leave the station to the time they get back. 1,027 calls were less than an hour and a half. 509 of those calls were between 1.5 and 3 hours. 23 of those calls were between 3 and 5 hours, and 1 call lasted over 5 hours. And they've got 626 hours of certifications and CEUs. On the staffing of the fire marshal's office, we've got 2 people now. We hired 1 last year, so that gives us 2 people now. And then we started annual inspections for the first time this year, which we didn't start till about midway of the year, because that's the reason why we hired that second person. But we were able to do 239 annual inspections. We reviewed 273 inspections. We did 42 plan reviews, 84 use and occupancies. 10 fires were in the city. Only 1 was deemed incendiary. It was at Walmart. We actually, with the police department, were able to locate the guy and had him in custody in 8 hours. And then we've issued 6 burn permits. We do a lot of public relations. Most of the places that we go to are the schools. It's Hernando Hills, Hernando High School. We go to Wesley Meadows. Hernando Head Start's one of our big ones. First Baptist Church of Hernando, Boy Scouts, the Water Tower Festival, Touch a Truck, Fishing Rodeo, A Fair, and then we had 11 guys go to Tupelo this year and do the 9/11 stair climb. Another thing we did last year is we bought an ambulance, and that was able to give us a reliable backup ambulance. At the time, we didn't have a backup ambulance, and our 2 main ambulances were starting to get old. So we bought us a backup ambulance, and just recently, we just bought a 3rd ambulance for this reason here. We remodeled Station 1 last year so that we could house a whole nother EMS crew and another ambulance. So hopefully by the end of this year, beginning of next year, we'll be opening up our 3rd ambulance running out of this station. So the city will have 3 fully staffed ambulances 24/7. Past that, I think that's all we got. Y'all got any questions?
Thank you, Chief.
Y'all like my little thing there?
Short and to the point.
That's right.
Just the way we like it.
Remember how short that was.
Great job.
We appreciate it. We appreciate you and your team for sure.
It's a lot of information packed in there.
Okay, item 16 is Jerry Barkley for the Department and Recs update.
Skipped Austin.
Oh, I skipped Austin on purpose. No, come on, Austin.
Alderman Robinson had to bet on the shortest one, so I might have just won, so just give me that's all right.
Can you do as good as the little fire truck that zoomed across there?
I don't have a video on mine, I'm kind of trying. All right, good evening. I know everyone here knows, and the mayor said this is really for us and the public, so a little bit about the planning department and how we function. We do, of course, handle planning, but we also handle building, code enforcement, business licensure, the coordination of all the NPO projects, and then the ordinance amendments that we've brought through. And so my presentation tonight will be a little bit about each one of those. This is us. We're a small department. Kristen's here tonight. I know everyone knows Kristen. Tony Ezel and Cindy Brewer are relatively new to the department. When Beth was promoted, we hired Cindy Brewer, and she's done great for us in the implementation of the new business licensure software. And Tony is our guy in the field for all building inspections, and so we're real proud of those guys, and Kristen as well. Department-wise, we processed 3,023 total permits through our department, and so this includes pools, fences, sheds, subcontractors, houses, commercial buildings, and break down a little bit, 107 of those were new residential homes. As y'all have seen, the interest rates have slowed things down a bit over the last 2 years, and so we are down, but the rate of decline is slowing, if that makes sense, with interest rates relaxing and some new subdivisions approved, which I'll talk about here in a second. 10 new commercial buildings. We've had 3 in the Nesbitt Industrial Park, and really the design review and the back and forth, the 10 new commercial buildings, that's a lot of the workload there with just the constant back and forth with design review and the inspections. Between Tony and Kristen, they completed 1,832 building inspections. That, like I said, all new commercial buildings, fence closeouts. What this does not include is the drive-by inspections. We've started closing out permits from years past. And so we discovered there was years and years worth of permits that were just hanging out there. And so what we're doing is slowly chipping away at pools that maybe don't have a fence, maybe a shed that was said they were going to install it one place and they did another. So a lot of that is just workload, but we're chipping away at it. The sum total of permit fees received is $1.4 million. There were some large permit fees that accounted for a lot of that number. And about 6 years ago, the board approved a 10% increase in permit fees. And so I do plan to bring a comprehensive review of the permit fees in the next year just to look at, just so y'all are aware of what the other cities are doing and where we are. On the planning review side, 17 certificate of development applications were approved, and that's all new construction for commercial and major renovations. And so 17 new buildings or major renovations happened in Hernando in the last 12 months. And 67 use and occupancy permits were inspected and issued. And the use and occupancy permits are interesting because we have, of course, a lot of multi-tenant structures in Hernando, and so each of those we check zoning, check building, and we work with Chief in the fire department on the fire inspection side. Stormwater has been a renewed focus for us. You may have noticed the stormwater stickers on the storm drains in the city. We've completed our first pass of storm drain stickers of all the storm inlets in the city, and so in years past, we've done the readings for the schools, and so it's a renewed effort of just trying to reinforce that those streams go to a public waterway, and so that is the storm sewer, and it's not for dumping. And we're working close with Lee and Chris, who are doing a great job on the large subdivisions, but every time Tony's at a site, checking a silt fence. And so just the little things that, in the end, make up a big difference on the stormwater permit. And the MS4 permit, which is our permit with DEQ, has been renewed and approved. And recently resubmitted for 2024. And then tree mitigation, unfortunately, we've had a lot of large projects start, which means the trees have been removed. And so the way our ordinance works is they can either guarantee a replanting project on the back end, or they can pay an in lieu fee. And so the last 2 large ones we've had of it decided to pay the in lieu fee. And so the Baldwin Basketball Park, there's been a planting project we worked with Jared on redoing, and we do expect to have a large one because of the Cal Wilkins site. He elected to pay in lieu, and so we plan to do a nice planting project somewhere in the city with those funds. Honestly, the least fun part about our job is code enforcement. We had 417 cases this year started, and so usually that's a letter, that's a door hanger, or that's contact with the property owner on the violation. 188 of those went to the next level, which means a court process was begun and hopefully not gone through the process. And then the last phase of that would be a demolition via public health and safety. And so we had 3 in the last 12 months. 2 were addressed with property owner compliance, and 1, unfortunately, was us to proceed. But I do think it makes a big difference. And entering springtime, I included the picture of the tall grass, because I know that's our favorite part of the city is when the grass starts growing. So that's something important I think our department does. And we do have an open code enforcement position that we hope to hire very soon. We've had some applicants. Historic preservation met 8 times. They considered 11 items, 7 residential, 4 commercial. I've included some examples of some new construction homes that we've had downtown in the water tower, which is on the historic register. Our certified local government application has been approved. And historic resource survey, we plan to do one this year. And we've been working with Gia and the intern on integrating our historic sites in Hernando with the mobile app. And so you can do a walking tour and click on the point and it'll show exactly what's in that historic resource survey and to incorporate with some of the Dickens and highlight some of the historic resources we have in the city. Planning Commission, we met 11 times. We heard 55 items and fortunately or unfortunately, you get to see me a lot up here talking, but the Planning Commission does a really great job of giving you guys recommendations and then giving those decisions on conditional uses and variances. And so we had 8 applications for conditional use, 18 subdivisions, 20 applications for variance, and 9 applications for rezoning. And something Beth started, and she did a great job starting, and we've recently completed, was our database of all of our planning projects. And so rezonings, conditional uses, variances, and subdivisions were not physically categorized in our office, and so we felt a little bit scattered with our records. So we finished the project of physically making a file for every zoning so we can accurately provide zoning letters and give a little bit better context and history for sites. An interesting note I thought y'all might find helpful is all the rezonings and the subsequent subdivision approvals we've had. And so on the left is a map showing all the rezonings in the last 12 months, green being approved, red denied, and yellow being in process, meaning they've yet to be heard or it's tabled or what. And the subdivision approvals of those are on the right. And something I think that's very noticeable about this map is the new growth we're seeing in Hernando and the large lot or the large number of lots we're seeing are on the extremities of our city limit. And so what that does is it's a strain on our utilities. Getting water, get sewer, get fire, get police out to these locations is difficult. And so it's important to know where we're growing and how, and as if it's sustainable to keep it going. Business licensure is something our office handles. We issued 679 licenses, either renewed or new this year, for a receipt total of $42,000. And as y'all know, y'all authorized me to proceed with the integration of the licensure into our permit software. And so it's going. It's slower than I'd like it to be. But what this will eventually do is allow for online payment, which is our biggest want from the public, and for automatic renewal generation to the public when they get their renewal. If they want to come see us, they can, but they can do it from their phone. And all of our fees and the receipt schedule, everything's set by state law, and I think streamlining it online is really going to help make that easier on the public. The MPO projects that we are in queue on are the Mackinville Road overlay, which the board authorized us to select Wagner, and so they're rolling with design. They're doing geotech on the subgrade. The Nesbitt sidewalk project, which has been an ongoing project for almost a decade now, has been authorized for design, and they're doing survey work as we speak. And then the Mount Pleasant bike lanes has been submitted to MDOT last week for authorization to proceed. And so we're hoping that's a quick project with no right of way, but that's the Metropolitan Planning Organization. It's the 80-20 cost share on our federal projects as they come through. Next steps, we've got a couple of updates we've done in the building code, which we thought made it a little bit easier on the public to build in Hernando. Is one of the most common things complained about was water fountains in low occupancy commercial buildings. And so y'all changed to allow less than 50 occupant load does not require a high-low bubbler, which, unless they want one, of course, it's not required by our code. Streamlining of street signs. Lee did a great job. We've incorporated that into our subdivision regulations, and so when someone's building a subdivision, they know exactly what street sign to order from the get-go. There's no confusion. Food trucks, I know that was highly discussed at a few of our meetings, but it seems to be well received. We've got a couple applications working for the allowances on food trucks. And then sidewalks, as small as it may be, y'all authorized us to change the code to where, back in the 1970s and 80s, sidewalks were only required on one side of the street and not in cul-de-sacs and subdivisions. Fast forward to now, it was never actually changed in our subdivision regs, and so that's been fixed. Next steps, the sign ordinance. We've worked with our city attorneys on getting a good draft. We've preliminarily submitted it to the Planning Commission. It's going back this month. I hope to have it to you guys in the next 30 days to get that adopted. The comprehensive plan, that's been drug out for quite some time. We're in negotiations with a sub-consultant on the public engagement for the comp plan to really get the public's feedback on where we're at with it. We have a document that's 80% there, and I'm ready to bring that one home this next year. The 2018 building code, we've been working with the fire department on getting y'all back a draft after our committee meeting about 6 months ago on a draft back to the board for adoption. And then the parking ordinance, we've got some tweaks to the parking ordinance where we think it's going to be a little bit easier for developers to do infill development downtown, which I think everybody seems to want. And so we've got some tweaks coming for the parking ordinance. That is the quickest way I could describe our last 12 months. I know you guys get to see me a lot, but our team does a great job. Kristen, Tony, and Cindy, I'm real proud of them. They help us out.
Thank you.
Good job.
Austin, how soon do you think online payment options going to be available? If you had to like ballpark it.
For business licenses?
Yeah.
So I'd say the next 6 months for sure. It's complicated because the way we collect business licenses is by month. And so if you apply in September, you're due the next September. State law sets, it's supposed to be all at once. And so if you apply in August, you're prorated to the next year. And so a big part of the integration is figuring out how we're going to roll everyone to the new license. But next 6 months, I think we'll be ready.
Okay.
So everybody be a 1/1 effective date?
Or fiscal year, but it'd be the same date for everybody.
We appreciate all y'all do for the city. Thank you for the presentation. Now, Jared, you can come up. And I'm going to ask, just for the board members, I'm going to ask the department heads, even the ones who've already presented, to email their presentations to y'all, just so you got a little context and history when you get asked a question. I think it might be valuable.
Do you think we could put them on our website for other people to reference? Because they've got a lot of great information, all of them have.
I think we could.
Just so people,
I'll work with Scott and Gia to see where we
Okay.
can insert those. I'll put that on my to-do list for tomorrow.
Thanks, Austin.
Thank you. All right, pleased to share with y'all an update on, or a review rather, on what the Parks Department has had take place in 2023. Part of that was developing a new vision and mission statement, so it's important to know where you want to be, but also equally important is how you're going to get there. So our new vision statement's to be the heart of our city, where dynamic parks, inclusive programs, and a commitment to well-being come together to create a thriving and connected community for all to enjoy. And how we'll get there is enhance the quality of life for our community by providing exceptional parks, recreation services that promote physical, mental, social well-being, and we strive to create welcoming parks, programs, and facilities that foster a sense of community and provide space, safe, accessible spaces for people of all ages and abilities. One key way we'll get there, or continue getting there, towards exceptional parks and recreation services is through staff development. We've focused on staff development this year. Y'all have invested in staff development this year as a board. Our sports directors, Brittany Bowen and Michael Carson, both completed their Certified Youth Sports Administrator certification through the National Alliance of Youth Sports, and were able to actually go to the NAYS National Conference in Baltimore in November and picked up some valuable training and resources in that as well. Dolly Breakin, who's our program director and also covers our social media marketing efforts and does a great job in that as well. Got her marketing and communication certificate through the National Recreation and Park Association. And then more recently, Tyrone Davis, who's our recently promoted sports turf supervisor, and Michael Gross, who's our parks maintenance supervisor, got their private applicator certificate for herbicide, pesticide through the state plant industry. And staff development also incurred with our greater maintenance staff. So we partnered or enlisted the services of David DeQuilla and Ken Edwards through DD Consulting LLC to come do in-person training. They made 3 visits to Hernando, had some educational sessions, and also a lot of hands-on training for repairs and maintenance services. Was very helpful in that, very valuable. We developed park maintenance standards and a standards manual and a checklist. So this park maintenance standards manual sets the bar. Across our facilities and complexes, says this is where we want to be, this is what we're striving for. That manual communicates the conditions of the park systems, and the data that we compile serves as a dashboard to communicate where our parks stand at any given time to myself, to our staff, to our elected officials, and to the public, where we can improve park conditions, be the most efficient resource allocation, and really assist in day-to-day maintenance for that. So there are several I know that's very small, I'm sorry. Each park, which has yellow, so those are parks and complexes. Each of those parks are different. They have different features, so there are different standards. So playground has its own standard, picnic facility, tennis courts, if applicable, overall grounds. Those are all graded, and the park itself then has an averaged score. These are done each month, and if you look in the top right-hand corner, that's the composite score at this point in time. Our parks rate at 75% totally. So according to our standards manual. That is a monthly chart based on the fiscal year, so you'll be able to see in October how Addie Baldwin rated, and then where it is in December, January, February, so forth and so on. So valuable tool for me specifically. I know we've gone over it, Mayor, and helpful just to have eyes on it and see as we progress. Going on to facilities, Skate Park Phase 2 was completed in 2023 in May by Fifth Pocket Skate Parks out of Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia area. This project was a MDWFP RTP grant, which is an 80-20 grant. Phase 1 was also an RTP grant. So MDWFP reimbursed $120,000 of this grant. It's, as you can tell, it almost doubled the footprint of Phase 1, which is the darker bowl. The newer one is the lighter color. It has elements of a plaza, so more of a flat area, grind rails, introduces ramps, and on the bottom right-hand corner, it also allows for wheelchair accessibility, and wheelchairs can actually drop into the bowl. So real cool feature there, really well thought out. We're happy with that. Friends of Hernando Skates, Miranda Williams does an incredible job mobilizing that community. She held a grand opening in June to celebrate the skate park there. Really well attended, great day. Parkway Cove, y'all allocated funds to totally redo Parkway Cove, which is on East Parkway, not far from Riley Street and the tunnel there. So the bottom is what was there. So really tired. Playground facility there, wooden beams as a border. We've totally redid it. We knew everything, really. We're able to even introduce or to add 2 swing sets. So one set for toddler swings with the buckets and then one for older kids. more appropriate plastic bordering, and a ADA accessible ramp going into it. Big improvement there. Conger Park, as y'all know, received, had damage from the storm and the rain in April. Estimated around $100,000 worth of damage. The Maddox Foundation graciously and very generously approached the city and offered to pay and manage the rebuild and renovation of this very popular playground. The process is underway, so the process is underway. Material has been ordered. It should arrive in March, and then construction and repair work will be done soon thereafter. So working towards that. It's been slow. We appreciate everybody's patience on that, but we're moving in the right direction. And again, really thankful for the Maddox Foundation and their partnership in that. Soccer complex. So there's our newest tool, the turf tank, which is a robot field painting machine. Really impressive piece of equipment. That U10 field in the top right-hand corner would take about an hour and a half to 2 hours for our staff to paint from scratch. It did it in 30 minutes, totally. So what would take 160 combined man-hours to lay out all the soccer fields from scratch for both the spring and the fall season, it can do it in 5.5 hours. So I think just a really invaluable resource for our staff there, and the lines are the straightest as you'll ever see. Also, we were able to put in some landscaping at soccer, native wildflower, native trees. So we've got some Rudbeckia, Black-Eyed Susan, big blue stem, and some oaks. Really look forward to seeing how that develops throughout that complex. Milton Kirkendall Fitness Park, we have, thanks to Lee, demolished the old concession building, so that's an improvement in of itself. Hope to have a new restroom facility there in the near future. The bids are, we're currently accepting bids for that. The Hernando Young Women's Club graciously donated trees, $15,000 worth, that are out there, and really look forward to seeing how those come out in the spring as well. And then a big improvement is the parking area. So no more potholes and no more rocks coming down a waterfall onto the track. So thank you all for that. Renaissance Park. A lot of legwork was done in 2023 to develop Renaissance Park, and Gia Matheny was very instrumental in orchestrating that, and namely the MOSTF grant, so Mississippi Outdoor Stewardship Trust Fund. We were awarded the second highest grant out of that at $1.7 million to go towards 18 holes disc golf, a pavilion with restroom, multi-purpose lawn, a native wildflower, native grass meadow of about 3.5 acres, parking, and then the city's match is 2,500 linear feet access built to city code extending from Highway 51. That project is underway. Kimberly Horn has been approved and under contract as the design firm for that. We actually had our kickoff meeting yesterday, so we are on a timeline schedule and look forward to moving with that throughout this year. On the west side of Renaissance Park, y'all as the board approved the $7.5 million general obligation bond. For park improvements, 6.5 of that will go towards the development of a quad of baseball, softball fields. So included in that will be a restroom, concession building, and parking to accommodate, and also an access road from Robertson Gin. So we look forward to moving on that here this year as well. Big news in December, the city purchased and closed on the Civic Center property for the ball fields, and really thankful for their cooperation in that, and look forward towards the improvements we can make out there. Programs and special events, so Dolly Breakin, in addition to our programs that we've had for years, introduced these in partnership with independent contractors. So Discovering Art Through Nature, which was a DeSoto Arts Council partnership, a Fast and Fit running program, which was made possible through a Baptist DeSoto grant. Jill Morris has started doing movement classes for kids, toddler up to age 8 have been really popular. And we also have some crafting classes, sewing and crochet classes from Melinda Franklin and Brianna Moyer. New special events that Dolly brought to us this year was our inaugural fishing rodeo, which was a partnership with MDWFP, who stocked all the catfish in Lee Summit Park, and volunteers, had about 33 volunteers from the Boy Scouts and other organizations in town. 131 anglers, really great day, perfect weather. It was just really good. First event, and then a kayaking class with on the Coldwater River, which was also very popular. Here's some photos from some select classes there. And then for sport programs, in addition to the sports that we offer, we were able in 2022, 23, straddling that year, to move into the Gatorade Fieldhouse for our practices and games for the first time, which really allowed us to increase our numbers in our program and really improve on things there. We hosted the MLB Pitch Hit and Run competition for the first time. Some kids even had the opportunity to progress into the next level, which was at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. So really cool opportunity for our kids. Then we also offered an instructional volleyball program at the field house in partnership with Relentless Volleyball Academy. First year ever doing that, 143 kids participated. Very popular program. Here are youth sport trend numbers from 2014. You can see youth soccer, which is kicked off this week with practices, at 544, and that's the highest youth soccer participation we've ever had. And the trend for softball, baseball, and t-ball are upwards. And then, as I mentioned in the previous slide, basketball is at 613, 100 more than last year, and 220 more than since we've been in the field house, since we've made that move. Here's some select photos from our programs there. And a thank you to y'all as a board, the mayor. Thank you to our staff. They're the ones who get it done out there. Our programming and office staff, and also our maintenance staff. On the right there is our new programs and events guide that Dolly did a great job at designing, cover to cover, procuring the sponsorships. If you have the opportunity to pick one of those up, they're around town. We also have one in the mayor's office on the coffee table there, and it's also on our website there. I encourage you to visit our website and our social media, and that's the best way to stay up to date.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Y'all have any questions for Jared? All right, we can tell y'all been working hard. Okay, item 17 is the approval of the MDEQ agreement number 498-2-CW-5.5, which is the Downtown Sanitary Sewer Rehab Engineering and Surveying Services Agreement, which would total $135,500 with the Pickering firm. And that is one of the ARPA match projects, I should say. I just need a motion to approve that agreement.
This is the smoke testing.
Mike, would you always come up and give a very brief
Yeah.
description of it and answer any questions for the board? This is an important one.
Yes, sir. Thank you. This is the downtown sewer study and rehab project. It will include the smoke testing, CCTV to actually look at the lines, and then there will be recommendations made for improvements, whether it be some kind of cure in place or whatever, or just replace.
Any other questions? If not, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. All right, let's get to work, Mike. Yes, sir. Thank you. Item 18 is to release the bond on Williamsbrook subdivision. Joe, did you want to speak on that?
The developers out at Williamsbrook mainly in that section B, the last section to the south. Have a bond that needs to be released, and they asked us to come out and inspect it. The main thing they had to do to get through was around the bridge. Had some erosion there, which they've been working to divert that water and stabilize that area to take care of that. Of course, that subdivision's been ongoing for, gosh, I don't know, 15, 16 years at least, through the recession and everything, so.
So this is the final.
This is finally gets it closed out, sidewalks, walking paths, getting that all fixed up.
Any questions? If not, is there a motion to release the bond?
Motion to approve. Second.
It's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 20 is approval to apply for an RTP grant. Jared, would you come up real briefly and just state what that's?
You skipped 19.
Skip Bush Lawn
Oh, I
Park.
skipped one. Oh, yeah, we need to do this one. Oh, hang out right there. This one's yours too. The approval to sell the Bush Lawn Park property for the best and highest bid of $25,000 to Kimberlin Incorporated. That was the only bid. It came in $1,000 over the appraised value. It's legal to sell it to Mr. Kimberlin, and I would recommend that we make a motion to do so.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Okay, now we will move on to number 19. Number 20, okay.
Yeah, so
I'm all discombobulated, aren't I?
the RTP grant is administered through the Department of Wildlife, Fishery, and Parks, so this is Recreation Trails Program. The track down at Milton Kirkendall Fitness Park is, there's a lifespan for the rubber tracks, and this is getting to the point where it needs some attention and some maintenance and repair on the coating there, and also maybe to the foundation of it as well. So this grant is due in March, so we wanted to go ahead and get approval to apply for it. We actually have a scheduled meeting for a track install companies coming to town next week to go over it more thoroughly to see what this what the extent is. So we're just looking for approval to apply for that.
And I will say that it seems odd, but this is the same grant that paid for a portion of that originally. We used the Healthy Hometown Grant in conjunction with this to pay for the resurfacing of it probably in 2011. So it is ending the near of its life, but it always seemed weird to me that they would do rubber tracks, but that we call that an urban oval trail, and they thought it was a good idea.
Mm-hmm. It gets a lot of use.
Yeah.
It's very popular.
Can we have a,
Motion to approve.
Second.
there's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 21, Jared, if you would present that one.
Sure. So the RFQ selection committee met a couple weeks ago, and we had 5 SOQs submitted for the, so this is the $6.5 million new baseball quad at Renaissance Park. The committee evaluated all of them, and our recommendation to the board is to select Kimley Horn and Associates as a design firm for the Renaissance Park improvement for that.
Any questions? If not, is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
There's a motion and a second on item 21. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Okay, thank you, Jared. Item 22, Joe, would you like to present that, which is the approval to advertise the Byhalia Road water plant and water well, which is another ARPA match funded program.
Okay. We need to move forward there on the new water plant. Of course, it has a well involved with it. It's out near the corner of Byhalia Road and Getwell Road, probably about 700 or 800 feet west of that intersection. And the developers have promised us a piece of property, put that on. We haven't, we need to go ahead and get a deed, official deed from them, but we're going to work on that. So it's going to take about a year to build that, so we need to get started on that project.
Any questions for Joe? If not, is there?
I have one, Mayor. Will this include a new water tower?
Yes, that's not in tonight's asking to advertise, but that is in that.
There will be coming before y'all in the near future a water tower, and we hope the water tower would be at a different location than the plant. But this is the plant portion, but yes, there is a sister project that would include a water tower.
Thank you.
Is there an estimate, like, as far as how many thousands of gallons it's going to produce a day or anything like that?
It's 1,000 gallon a day, 1,000 gallon a minute plant.
Okay.
So that's what the well will produce, be a 200,000 gallon ground storage tank. Of course, we'll have the building that goes with it, pumps and everything that goes with a water plant.
Okay. All right, is there a motion on the item?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The motion passes. Thank you, Joe.
I need to mention one thing.
Yep.
And I know the mayor has reminded me that we've been working on this project for 7 years, but we've officially, MDOT says we can sign a contract with Farrell Paving for the sidewalk on McInville Road, so you can add that to your list up there.
Good.
We officially can start construction on that.
Let us know via text when they get out there and start so we can come look at it.
Okay, well, we got to have a big meeting, of course, with MDOT before we start.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Item 23 is the approval of an amended resolution authorizing City of Hernando credit card users for the MasterCard account.
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 24 is approval of the amended resolution authorizing the City of Hernando credit card users for the Visa accounts.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next is approval for the animal shelter to purchase an unbudgeted vehicle with donation funds that they have available.
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
What sort of vehicle are they purchasing? Just
Chief, what did they end up getting? It's going to be a Dodge Durango. Dodge Durango, okay. All opposed, say no. Hearing none, that motion passes. Item 26 is to the approval to surplus and dispose of items with no value listed on your agenda.
Motion.
Second.
It's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 27, the developer has asked to table it until the February 20th meeting. So could I have a motion to table that item?
Motion to table.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 28, every 2 years until now, we have had to advertise for a bank depository bid. And there's a letter in your packet from the board, from the city clerk and the chief financial officer recommending that the best bidder is Bank First. And that came with help from the state treasurer's office.
So we've normally gone 2 years. So are they requiring 4 years?
They offered 4 years.
They offered 4 years.
State statute has changed.
Okay. So all the banks were offered to do, all 9 bank bids were offered either 4 or 2?
Just 4.
Just
Offered
4, and
all
that was
4.
it? Okay, that's interesting.
So can I have a motion to approve Bank First as the bank depository?
Motion to approve.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes, and we will be in touch with y'all very shortly to start working on that. So Pam and Ed will be our point people on that. Item 29 is to keep the ball rolling on this. Pam wanted to add the approval of me, Pam, Ed, and Julie Gates as signers for the bank accounts, so we can sign the appropriate paperwork as that rolls forward.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Item 30, the utility adjustments. If I could have a motion on those.
Motion. Second.
The motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes.
Second.
There's a motion to adjourn and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are now adjourned.